Welcome back to our series of panel discussions talking about all the Christian films coming out. I'm David from the YouTube channel Catholic Contrast. I'm joined by Renee from Reborn Pure, Ned from Parables of the Film Industry, and Joseph, the Catholic Apologist. So this time we're going to be watching the trailer for a film that premiered at the Sundance Festival last year in 2015, but it just secured a limited release in theaters starting next month in May.
Oh, cool. Good for
So this film is Last Days in the Desert. Have any of you guys heard anything about it?
I have
No,
heard nothing.
but I like the word desert because I love the
Yeah.
Desert Fathers. So
All right,
this
well,
could be
then
good.
we'll go
Okay.
into it dry and we'll see.
I haven't heard anything about it, but the
Desert?
word Sundance scares me. I don't know
Oh,
why.
wait.
Well, it's just a
But-
film festival.
It's just a film festival.
I know, it's still, the name scares me. Anyway.
Okay.
All right, let's watch it. The trailer.
Ooh, I like it. It's so pretty.
Wait a minute, Obi-Wan Kenobi?
It's Ewan McGregor.
Oh my gosh!
No, okay, this is already a really pretty movie.
Have you been out here, Holy Man? Since the last full moon, maybe
Love
a little
it.
longer.
I'm loving this.
The desert is ruthless. Strips you of your vanities, your illusions, gives you the opportunity to see yourself for who you are.
Oh, I heard a real monk say that.
You're never alone. Some spirit or something is always with you. I have water for you here, Yeshua. That's what your mother calls you, isn't it? Your father. Everything matters more to him than you. My father loves me. He loves himself only. Oh, what anger. You are your father's son.
See, it's his own thoughts coming to torture him in the silence and stuff.
Because you're weak. Your good intentions will be wasted here. They don't need us to ruin their lives. They'll do that all by themselves. These things he expects of you. Do you think anyone will care? A man of 1,000 years from now. Have you found what you were looking for? No.
Obi-Wan.
I'll stay as long as it takes.
What?
You think you're his only child? There are others. No, there is only me. There is only me.
So that's what happened on Tatooine.
Oh,
What?
that explains it. That explains it. So this is actually a Star Wars sequel.
Oh yeah, it's the 30 years in between when Obi-Wan was
Oh.
stranded on Tatooine after
That
he went into hiding.
explains it. Okay.
So, general impressions.
I'm gonna see it.
I want to see it.
I want to
Yeah,
see it.
so the story here is that it is a film about Jesus's 40 days in the desert.
Oh, is that Jesus?
That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
No,
Yeah,
that's
that's-
not Jesus.
That's
He
no, wait, it's Ewan McGregor plays Jesus and the devil.
What? No,
He
no.
plays both.
I thought this was like modern day. Like this is some
No.
guy.
This is Jesus
some
in the
hippie
desert.
decided to go into the desert, and this is what
No.
happened. But no,
No.
this is Jesus in the
That's
desert.
Jesus
for
in the
40 days?
desert for 40 days.
Oh wow! If I had known that while I was watching it, I would have been more careful with what they were saying.
Oh,
And
okay.
like,
I-
oh, God is saying these things.
Yeah.
No, I mean, Satan's saying a lot of them.
Yeah.
It's
There
a
is
conflict
only
between
me.
God and Satan. No, Jesus is saying he's the only son of God.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh. See, now it makes more sense.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
what is who cares about his father and his son?
Yeah.
Like, oh.
So this is actually a very limited production or minimalistic production because the director talked about he wanted to make a story on Jesus that it wasn't about the big flashy sets and effects and everything else. It was just sort of pure story, pure cinematography, pure just. They shot this in 5 weeks.
Wow.
Wow.
Which is very short for a
Very
feature-length film. They just
Yeah.
went out into the desert with a few
Impressive.
actors. It's just Jesus in conflict with the devil, and then also this family that he runs into out there.
Oh, okay.
So
Well,
that's the story.
He looked very human in it. Like I thought it was
Yeah.
just some guy
Yeah.
until you're like, oh, it's
I do-
Jesus.
I do
like that
like
was
that.
kind of that's kind of cool. I
Yeah.
think, but-
I think I only have one concern for it, and I don't know if you guys remember this last comment I made in the previous video.
Yeah.
It's now we all know and have established that many people believe that Jesus Christ was a real person, of course. My only issue is the fact that Ian McGregor, that's his
Ewan
Ewan,
I
whatever.
don't know how to
Anyway.
pronounce his first name.
Never mind. Anyway, Obi-Wan. Let's go with
Obi-Wan,
Obi-Wan.
yeah, there we go.
Obi-Wan is playing Jesus and the devil. As a really cool and interesting thing I think as that is, it's following within this, I think, and I hope it really doesn't. It's following within the same concern that I had for all the other Christian movies that I saw, like Noah and Exorcist Gods and Kings and
Yeah.
a few other things that they might be trying to make Jesus look insane. And I really like he's having mirages of himself as this other person and whatnot. And I really, really hope it's just a concern. It's not me judging the movie. I really do want to see it. It's just a slight concern.
I don't know how he was, tempted in the desert, but it's like how I want to see more of how he deals with those temptations because that's where the accuracy and the truth lies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And if they make him like he's going insane, like then it's like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
The thing is, something I love in The Passion of the Christ when it first starts. Again, I'm referencing The Passion of the Christ. I'm sorry. But, no, I'm not sorry. I take that back.
You and I both do it.
He's the benchmark for all Christian films.
Gotta go hard or go home.
In The Passion of the Christ and the Agony of the Garden, you saw Jesus suffering.
Yeah.
But despite being tempted, as in Satan trying to say, oh, you can't do that, he was praying, he was staying strong, because there's a certain line with temptation where our Lord himself says in the Gospels that he's going over the law and saying, it's in the law that if a man sleeps with another woman, he's committing adultery. But I say to you, if a man lusts in his heart, so is that saying, is temptation a sin? Well, it depends on what stage the temptation is at. Okay, because we've all had temptations. We get temptations all the time. Does that mean we're sinning every time we get a temptation? Not necessarily. When we get a temptation, what is our next step?
Yeah.
Do we immediately be like, no, I don't want that, I'm going to resist that? Or even if for a split second, do we go with the urge to start going out and like for a second give into that? Even if it's a venial sin, that would then be a small sin to start giving into the temptation. So I almost got the indication from this movie that they were starting to go into that, but it wasn't super clear.
But I can't tell, so that's why I want to see it.
Exactly. I'm not sure how they're going to go
Smart.
into this, because if they're going to go in and get to the point where Jesus is like, I'm really tempted, I'm about to... No, I won't.
You immediately try to go for my
that's
face?
already starting committing... That's already starting going on the venial
Yeah.
sin, and Jesus is God. He's not going. They need to have it more like again in the Passion, where he was being tempted. He was having a hard time. He was suffering, but he persevered through it, and he was fighting it the whole time. Not, I consider giving it no.
I think that's an important issue where it's the question of how do you portray Jesus in a film in a way that the audience can empathize with them? Because that's always the thing about creating a protagonist for a movie. You want the audience to be able to empathize. And Jesus, because he's the Son of God, he has the divine nature, is someone that's very foreign to us in a way of our conscious experience, and that we don't know what that's like. And so oftentimes, like we talked about this in The Young Messiah, where they try to make Jesus more relatable and that he doesn't know stuff, it doesn't come across right because it's not theologically accurate.
Yeah.
Interestingly about this film, it was not directed or written, or the director/writer is not a Christian. He grew up in a Catholic environment, but he was always fascinated with the story of Jesus and wanted to tell a story of Jesus. But he mentioned that he felt nervous about calling Jesus in the film, because he says, where I grew up in a Spanish-speaking country, Jesus is a very popular name. It's just super casual. But in English, Jesus has this sort of very mystical, or it's very reverent. Like you don't name your kid Jesus.
Right.
So in the movie, he's actually called Yeshua.
I
which
actually
is back
like that.
to the Hebrew. It's what they called him. In,
I actually like
Passion of
that.
Christ. Yeah,
I like that.
I like it too. Yeah. And so I think that would be. I mean, as far as whether it was well made or not, it is at 89% on Rotten Tomatoes,
Really?
which
Wow.
is really
Really?
good.
It looked pretty
For-
from the
yeah.
first shot. I was like,
It looked well made.
Yeah.
But I just normally a trailer can give a good indication.
Yeah.
It almost seemed like they were going against, but I'm not sure.
We have to make the judgment and go see it, I guess.
Exactly.
And I guess that's the thing where, how do you portray it? Because I saw hints of what the trailer looked like, Jesus being legitimately tempted or moved. And I think that's very tricky to portray in a theologically accurate way. I think in The Passion, as you mentioned, the way they created empathy was Jesus' suffering. That's something that Jesus experienced the same way any mortal person would, and that's something every mortal person can relate to. So with this, I don't know. I mean, we'd have to see it.
Yeah, it's the
When
other
does
thing.
it come out?
It comes out limited release in May. I don't know if there's a theater near us, but we can check it out.
No.
The other thing I was just thinking about is when they have that it seems like that confrontation where it seems like Jesus is grabbing Satan by the almost like he gets kind of angry, and then Satan's almost like trying to play a mind game against him and say, oh, just like it is. Are they going to have it where Jesus is kind of like struggling on the mind game, because that's something again kind of going along the passion. That's not something Satan's not going to be able to beat God in a mind game.
Yeah.
You know, like on matters of divinity and like on human stuff. You know, he was like us in all things but sin. But gotta draw these careful distinctions.
I think that's the problem is that we talk about like really shallow characters and like there's no depth, there's no conflict. Well, with Jesus, he's divine. He's like there's not going to be. You can't create a moment in the film where it's like, is Jesus really going to be tempted? Is he really going to go for it?
Right.
Because you know all along that he's going to just resist everything unless you really do break away. Right. So I think that would be the concern.
Right. I mean, you can still have it like he's legitimately being tempted, and it's really because he is still fully human.
Yeah.
You can have it where he's really suffering and really having a hard time with it without. It can be done. You just have to be very careful. Yeah. And what worries me is that you're saying this guy isn't Christian or what?
He grew up in a Catholic environment, a Catholic home.
So that's the thing. Some of the Catholic communities, they might be more solid. Some of them might be more lukewarm. So that would kind of depend. Also, the fact if he's not a practicing Catholic anymore, why is he not a practicing Catholic anymore? I feel like if you are going to make something very good and very beautiful, the best thing is to have a passion for it. And if you've lost that passion with going away from Catholicism, I mean, not that it's impossible, but it has me on the edge of my seat. So, like, I'm basically with you guys in the fact that I can't say for sure because the trailer didn't give me enough, but from what I did see, I'm very uncertain and slightly worried. But
there was no scene in that trailer that just made me like, oh, okay, he's not gonna like fall for every temptation. There was none of that. It just left a big question mark.
It did. Yeah. And the other thing is
probably
like
how they knew to grind our gears to go see it.
A personal thing, that particular actor, I have a hard time seeing him like being realistic for playing Jesus. Actually, it doesn't.
So what was he originally in?
Obi-Wan Kenobi
in the Star Wars prequels.
Yeah.
The prequels, yeah.
Did you watch the Star Wars prequels?
Yes, I did, but like I'm thinking of the old Obi-Wan.
No.
The young Obi-Wan.
Young Obi-Wan.
What?
The young Obi-Wan is the guy who plays Jesus in this, and it just
it
does not just because he's Obi-Wan, he just doesn't look like.
So I actually have a funny comment about this thing. I was thinking throughout the entire trailer. Well, when I found out that he was Jesus, so there's actually this Facebook meme where this old I know, right? Where this person where it has a picture of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it's older Obi-Wan. It's Ian McGregor, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and there's a cross right next to it, and the comment under it says, my grandmother thinks that this is a picture of Jesus, and I'm just like, okay. And now and then I see that, I'm just like, oh my gosh, he's actually playing Jesus. Oh my gosh.
Grandma was right.
She was right.
Grandma was praying for that man.
Exactly.
And now he's playing Jesus.
Oh my gosh.
Grandma had a plan.
They almost had it in the Brick Bible. They used the Qui-Gon Jinn as Jesus. They should have used Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yep, exactly. They should have just used Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Stop right there.
Wait, what? You don't want to talk about the Lego Brick Bible? Oh, okay.
Stop.
Be careful.
Right,
be careful about temptation.
Okay, moving on. I guess the last thing I would like to... Oh no, we're going to have a fight over it. The last thing I'd like to address is I know some people in the comment section of our trailer reviews have been saying, stop judging the movie, guys. You haven't seen it yet. We're not trying to judge the movie in these trailer reactions. Yes. What we're doing is we're judging the trailer. The trailer is a piece of marketing that is trying to present us with a reason to see the movie. And so this is our evaluation of it. Yep. And
hey, look, we've gone to see every other movie anyway, so
we went to see our Messiah.
The movie, so
we went to see God's Not to
Die.
We did it for you, but it was painful.
Yeah, exactly.
Just so you know.
Exactly. God.
So we're not just going, that looks dumb, don't see it, guys. It's like, that looks, I don't know, like, okay, we go see it.
I mean, if it looks good, we'll say so.
Give you
exactly.
Do not worry, we will thoroughly review it.
Give us something good to react to, and we will react good to it. Passion of the Christ. Sorry.
Captain America Civil War.
Captain America Civil War. Anyways, maybe we'll do some of these. Anyways, thank you for watching, and we hope to see you in the next video.
We'll go check it out.
Bye.
Fare thee well.